Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to radically shift how you view the financial markets today. Look, if you're totally exhausted by all the internet hype, those crazy promises of overnight wealth, and the nonstop noise from online gurus, well, you're in exactly the right spot. Today, we're taking an incredible 30 years of hard-won market experience and distilling it down into one single structured roadmap. The goal here is simple: to turn you into a consistently profitable professional trader in exactly 12 months. We're stripping away everything that doesn't work and giving you the exact step-by-step path to success. But before we even start the climb, we really have to look at this staggering number: 90%. That is the universally acknowledged failure rate among new traders. Crazy, right? It's a brutal reality, but the source material highlights something completely paradigm-shifting. These traders do not fail because they lack natural talent, and they definitely don't fail because they're using the wrong indicators. They fail because they're trying to climb a massive, treacherous mountain, think of scaling the peaks of Mount Damavand, completely blind, without a wrap. If you put all your effort into walking in the wrong direction, all that effort is just totally useless. Today, we're handing you the map. Okay, let's dive into this, because there is a massive disconnect between what the internet tells you trading is and what trading actually requires. Just look at the myth side here. The whole chaotic get-rich-quick mentality tells you that you need to be a math genius, or start with millions in the bank, or endlessly chase other people's signals. No way. The reality? You don't need to be any of those things. To become a legitimate professional trader, you really just need a disciplined, structured 12-month map. It's all about pragmatic, step-by-step execution, definitely not overnight magic. So to instantly lower that cognitive anxiety, here is the exact chronological path we'll be taking over the next year. We start with Phase 1, the foundation. Then Phase 2, dry practice. Next is Phase 3, controlled entry. Phase 4 is the pro analyst. And finally, Phase 5, consistent profit. All right, Phase 1. The foundation. This covers months 1 and 2. You are right here at the very beginning of this year-long expedition. This is where you lay the bricks. And please, hear this loud and clear. During this phase, your absolute sole focus is learning the language of the market. The pursuit of actual profit, that is absolutely forbidden right now. I mean it. If you skip this, your career basically collapses the second the market tests you. And this brilliantly illustrates the 3 non-negotiable steps for your first 2 months. First, learn the basics and tools. We're talking candlesticks, trends, and concepts like fair value gaps and break of structure, which are basically just the footprints of institutional money. Second, pick one system. Seriously, just one. The source highly recommends smart money concepts for beginners to track those footprints. And finally, start journaling. Even if you don't take a single trade, you have to build up your baseline market recognition. Write down exactly what you see. Moving right along to Phase 2, dry practice. This takes us through months 3 and 4. So we've left base camp and we're progressing steadily along the map into the rigorous trial phase of the journey. You've learned the language, and now it's time to really build up those cognitive brain muscles. This is where theory starts actually meeting action. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this is the exact phase where 90% of amateurs just turn around and run away. It's just, too boring for them. Enter paper trading. This means executing your trades using your real rules but with fake money. Alongside this, you have to execute 5 serious manual backtests using your single chosen strategy and practice strict, unwavering adherence to your stop loss. Doing this builds ironclad discipline without risking complete financial ruin. This is the heavy lifting that makes your system become second nature. Next up is Phase 3, controlled entry, months 5 and 6. Okay, we are officially halfway up the mountain. You're finally entering the real market with real money, which, let me tell you, is a massive psychological test. This base camp is where your true trading personality really begins to take shape, because it's focused entirely on character building, not wealth building. To pass this test, you absolutely must abide by this golden rule. You have to enter the market with an amount of money so tiny that losing it wouldn't hurt you at all, say $50. Your task here is to take 20 practice trades, strictly risking only 1% per trade. That is just 50 cents. And here's why. Whether it's 50 cents or $50,000, your brain learns the exact same mechanics of risk. So let me ask you a direct question. Do you have the discipline to execute your system perfectly for 2 whole months? without giving into the emotional temptation to chase profit, because that is your only goal here. Did you trade according to your system today, or did you not? If you can just follow your rules for 50 cents, you will eventually be able to do it for $50,000. Now we hit phase 4, the pro analyst. This covers months 7 through 9. Let's move to and see how this builds, because right here, the training wheels come completely off. The cognitive load increases significantly as you enter the professional tier of our chronological roadmap and level up from just being a spectator to becoming a true market analyst. At this stage, your analytical skills really need to become incredibly sharp. You have to master multi-time frame analysis, understanding the story the market is telling from the daily chart all the way down to the 15-minute chart. You've got to map out liquidity with deep understanding. Where is the market hiding traps? Where have stop losses accumulated? And where are those order blocks? The massive areas where banks place their trades that need a retest. Mastering these specific skills and seamlessly combining them with the risk management you built back in phase 3, that is exactly what separates the seasoned pros from the struggling novices. Finally, we arrive at phase 5, consistent profit, months 10 through 12. We have actually reached the summit of our 12-month map. Now, historically, this is the critical juncture where survivors suddenly just give up out of sheer boredom. But wait, this is exactly where deep analysis transitions perfectly into professional execution at scale. So what actually happens at the summit? First, you adapt everything you've learned into a personal system that fits your specific psychology. So absolutely no more copy-pasting someone else's strategy. Next, you implement a small volume scale-up. If you started with $50, maybe you bump it to $150 or $200. You do not suddenly jump to $2,000. And finally, you target the absolute holy grail of trading: slow, agonizingly boring, consistent monthly profit. We are talking a steady 1 to 3% return. No flashy Lamborghinis overnight, just small, assured, consistent victories. So, the crucial point is this. If you survive these 12 months and you actually follow these steps without skipping ahead, you will have completely shed that amateur gambling mindset. You will have evolved into a legitimate, disciplined professional. You're no longer relying on luck, you are relying entirely on your meticulously crafted edge. If you take away just one thought from this entire explainer, please make it this. Big money comes from skill, not from rushing. It's basically the pure distilled essence of 30 years of market experience. It perfectly captures the anti-hype, highly structured philosophy we've been walking through today. The market pays for patience and precision, literally never for panic. Which leaves us with one final, very real challenge for you. Are you ready to spend the next 12 months in silence, doing the boring, disciplined work to get the results that 90% of people will only ever dream of? Leave the chaotic noise of the internet behind you today. The map is right in front of you. The only question now is whether you have the discipline to take that very first step. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.